I know a former sales director who measured his salespeople on how many no's they got because, as he said, you need lots of no's to get to a yes. Hey, I've had my fair share of rejections throughout life and just taken them as norm without taking time to think about it. My guest today has done something about that and identified 15 categories of rejection. That's just one of the many stimulating things he's doing to help businesses grow revenue and deliver a wow customer experience. Want to know more? Well, grab your Stetson and let's zoom to the home of JR, that's Dallas, and say welcome to the CEO of C-Level Global, David Rose. Welcome, David.
Thank you, Malcolm. Thank you very much. That was an incredible welcome, and I love to throw back to none other than J.R. Ewing, one of our favorites around here, and we're just a couple miles from South Fork Ranch, literally from here. So next time we'll go on a virtual tour.
Okay, I'll look forward to that, David. That sounds brilliant. I was a passionate watcher of that, including the padded shoulders, of course. David, before we find out why I get so many rejections, tell us about C-Level Global and what you do.
Thank you. Well, it's really a passion, Malcolm, around building revenue engines, as we call it. We use a methodology I developed. I'll share a little more about it, perhaps as we go. Renaissance methodology, have used it around the world to build great revenues. But you do that first by building a wow customer-centric experience. And that's in the mentality of everybody's accountable. And then you build a happy place to work. Revenues fall into place. So that's really what we do.
Excellent. Yeah. Now, I said in my opening piece, you've researched and found 15 categories of rejection, the sources of yes versus no. What are the top 3 or so ones that salespeople feel hardest to overcome? Do they let themselves become open to rejection?
That's a great way you put it, Malcolm, and open to rejection. We're certainly open to rejection as a species when we're born, because that's how we learn. We just push the boundaries and push the boundaries until no can define the boundaries around us. And that was the driving force behind discovering really a 10-year global study to be the first person to document the typology of rejection, sources of yes and no. They're all powerful, but yes, to your question, there are 3 I would point out. The first is mind blocks, which is something that either stops us from going for what we want or holds us back, or maybe just causes us to try haphazardly, sort of like, I know you're going to say no, Malcolm, but I just set that up for rejection. And mind blocks come in those forms, but mostly they stop people. And they exist in our own minds and in the minds of our audience whom we're dealing with. And that's a very deep, you have to be very aware, self-aware of what your own mind blocks are and willing to push the boundaries and know those of your audience, the person you're dealing with, your friend, your family member, your someone in business, whomever they may be. So mind blocks, that's most important. So I gave you a little more elaboration, but 2 others quickly would be, likability. And it's, believe it or not, and not everybody believes this, as one lady told me after I spoke at a Ritz-Carlton event. She heard that this was a category. It's likability. Likability is a category. And she came up and she said, well, you must make love a category. She said, that's just makes sense. And I said, well, perfect. We've thought a lot about it with a lot of people around the world. And we found that, and I just asked her, have you ever really loved someone? And Malcolm, she said, yes, I have. And I said, have you ever not really loved somebody? Oh, I hated this person. Was it the same person you loved? Yes. So you loved and hated. I said, well, it's a scale of likability. It can balance between love and hate to likability, or you can view it as a thermometer. But understanding the likability realm, asking my mom if I could borrow her car per se, I'm probably going to get a yes, Malcolm. But asking just my neighbor, who knows? Well, likability is a factor. Of course, other things play. There's multiple categories like credibility and performance. Those are some of the basics, but mind blocks and likability are two really big ones. The third is just goal shot. It's how you ask for something. That's actually a form of rejection. Most people are familiar with things like, oh, well, the money, the compensation may throw it off, or their interest or needs and wants. Sources, yes, but some to really pay attention to are how you have the mind block to go for what you want, how you actually ask for it is really, really important. So there's three.
Excellent. Yeah. I wish I'd learned that so much earlier. Then Sue Ellen wouldn't have rejected me all those years ago, you know? Now it seems to me that you are constantly coming up with some brilliant thinking and new models, including your new book. What's your Renaissance methodology? I've seen the form you've created, but can you give it to me in layman's terms and why business people need to understand it?
Sure. Yeah, and you said it very well, Malcolm, in layman's terms. And you know, the one thing I'll tell you is it's Renaissance methodology is an acronym, but it's the process that we go through to really strengthen a company to attain their new incredible vision through that wow customer experience and making it a happy place to work. Then revenue falls into order for the vision. So it really boils down to it's about how we re-engineer the plan, an incredible plan, and energize the people to get buy-in and innovation. We nominate champions on the front line to help create sustainable behavior change. We apply an integrated selling service using what I've coined as multiple modes to market. Market are the decision makers, modes are the tactics, the touch points to them. So we apply an integrated selling service to bring the cost of selling and lead generation down. We accelerate the plan and full-blown implementation. We negate the barriers we know are going to be behavioral. We set up a vertical regimented communication system from top to bottom throughout customers and prospects, integrating that data to learn from. That's the C in Renaissance communication. And we evolve through metrics using the theory of accelerants, which I've developed on how to measure people individually and as a team to harness their psychological drive and competitiveness, because we all want to do well as people. And so it's a system for management to build an incredible company. So it's not simple, and I learned to make no apologies, but the art of transitioning an incredible vision with people and process is a science.
But I can sort of feel and grasp that once it's embedded, then it will continue to grow within a business. Yeah.
Absolutely. Continue to grow.
Okay, I think I'm getting it much clearer now. How in your book are you aiming for business people to grab the concept and act on it and do it quickly in these times where fast and agile action's needed?
Yeah, quickly in these times. And ironic, the name Renaissance in a period of time, you know, that we're in now is really, you know, quite interesting. There's a lot to grab, but what you have to do is you just grab one thing quickly. Can you shake up yourself? Are you willing to shake up yourself first and then shake up those around you to go for an incredible vision? And you have to really come to that grip. In the book, I teach the 10 to win power ritual in the morning to really get ready and go out and have what I call have a powerful day. And, you know, you have to commit that, hey, I'm not just feeling that way today, and I'm ready to kick my own tail and, you know, my colleagues and push so we can all have more for ourselves and our family. But you have to feel that way every day. So being able to shake it up and then shake others up and hold each other accountable. That's the thing to grab first. Without that, the rest, you're going to sink.
I do remember, David, many years ago, my first sales training was by Mattel Toys, which is a big American company there. And they wanted to teach all the UK salesmen the Mattel song before as you got up in the morning. When we sell like hell, because we sell Mattel. It hasn't gone out. That was 1970.
That's fantastic. Is that a trade secret? I love it. Thanks for revealing.
I do love your thinking. And so let's do another one. The 4 micro moments which Google takes credit for identifying. What are they? And what's this about you finding a 5th micro moment?
Indeed. So this has been the subject of a number of, since people aren't doing appearances in person. I've been doing a number of virtual discussions on this. It caught me by surprise. I know how important it is, but there's 4 micro moments, as you said, Malcolm. I say exactly right, but there's a 5th that's being overlooked as a part of these. I'll share what all 5 are. Just know that when it comes to micro moments, this is a very content rich moment. Just think of that. It's a content rich moment where we as an individual, Malcolm, go to our trusty cell phone for something. That's the micro moment. So Google talks about that they're know, go, do, and buy. There, you want to know something, you want to go somewhere, you want to know how to do or to do something, or and then that will transgress to buy, or you just, I want to buy, I know. So, and those are important. I'll tell you the 5th, but I do want to share with you, and the data is very small. It's a small sample size. So I know it's not actually 0, but the numbers came back in a little over 200 replies. We sent out several hundred, but I had 200 varieties of types of people from business in about 22 countries reply. And it was simple. Yes or no. It was just hit a red or a green. Do you know? I didn't want them to think or cheat or look it up. Just red or green. Do you know what micro moments are? All the answers that were replies actually said no. So that was striking. Worth noting. The 5th micro moment is not really all about know, go, do, or buy, but you can slip that in. The 5th micro moment is when we just want to relax, or really it's when we just want to stream, whatever it may be, a meme, a TikTok, whatever it is, any type of video. Just scrolling down on LinkedIn, I can get video feeds, and I'm just in the moment, I just want video. And recognizing a 5th moment around video and entertaining and relaxing and letting go is magic to branding. So that people need to think about that.
Hey, David, this video that we're doing at the moment could be a micro moment for somebody, couldn't it?
Bingo. You got it. I hope we're micro momenting together.
Yes, we'll get it. Okay, David, this is the Top Gun Sales and Marketing Show for those who want to be the best and do it fast. How do my viewers take your thinking or your C-level global services to find, win, and keep more customers in these tough times?
Okay, so the Holy Grail: find, win, and keep more. These are loyal customers who, in this sense, are probably going above and beyond and spreading the word of mouth and generating more referrals and lowering the cost. The Holy Grail.
Yeah.
Well, you only ask tough questions, Malcolm. So I'll give you the real tough answer. That question is the amazing question, right? And it's what you would think is on every board member's mind, manager, entrepreneur, owner, aspiring entrepreneur. And there is no silver bullet. I love our good friend Simon Sinek, right? And much of his hard work, so if I get this right, Simon, I hope you say culminated around, find your why, the concentric circles, right? So that's very sexy and to the point, you can get that. But Malcolm has said himself, he's not an implementation guy. So what happens to get those kind of customers? You got to be willing to implement. There's not a quick hit. For a salesperson, you're going to have to grab a consistent, repeatable process, and that's great for you. But if your company doesn't get behind you, forget about it. As a salesman, you got to go to the top. As the top, you got to go to the bottom. So it has to work together, and then you build a systems for management. I suggest using Renaissance methodology. The Renaissance methodology to build a custom revenue engine of other types of components and build it right. Don't just run down what the latest and greatest snake oil is. No offense to any type of product out there, but I just want to make a harsh point. So, but that'd be a salient moment that you're going to have to dig in, be willing to shake it up, find your incredible, and then build a system to it. That's That's the answer, unfortunately.
Yeah. I hope all viewers that you're enjoying David's thinking. I certainly am. And don't forget to take note of his URL behind me so that you can follow through with the book and so on. David, you've started and sold many businesses. I guess some work better than others. It's often the case. Is there a formula for success?
Yeah, and right there, bullseye with that. Some definitely worked better than others. And early on, a couple of successes, one in catering and the other early on in internet days and gift baskets for corporate focus. Those worked very well quickly. And once I, saw, wow, some revenue growth, I was too quick to sell. I learned that in my 20s. But the methodology that was in place to help those grow quickly to B2B markets. At that time, I used for some B2C markets, some B2B and B2B to B2C markets. I've worked in varieties of different channels, and the methodology is always going to be the same. You use multiple modes to market. You use at least 7+ modes to market working together to create a singular brand around all 5 micro moments. And you put consistent, repeatable processes. We say CPR, as here in America and other places, you'll say CPR saves lives. What I say is that is true, but consistent, repeatable processes, if you change those letters, saves and grows businesses. And so that's really the element to latch onto.
Yeah.
That's the defining moment.
I like that. See, oh yeah, that's I'm up for that one. Listen, I want to slip in an extra question here, David. We talk a lot about wow. Now, I talk a lot about that to customers in or people in workshops and seminars, and they look blank on my face. So sometimes I take the mickey out of them by saying wow stands for wicked on Wednesdays. But what is a good wow? It doesn't have to be expensive, does it?
No, it doesn't, and that's the beauty of it. It's just that what it has to be starts from whom it has to be from. Those are from the people mostly and the technology interactions. So these webinars and series will say, hey, sit down and have your client experience team or customer service team or C-suite watch how to map out a process. Very valuable, and that is key. Part of what Renaissance is we have to map out all the touch points. But it goes far beyond that. We have to be able to impact them. One of the biggest wow factors that I've used with doctors in the patient world, so that's a wow patient experience. And similarly, in other types of businesses that we've used with B2C, is crazy metric that you're like, that sounds too hokey, but it's a game changer. Ever thought about measuring the wow moment of how often you can make someone smile when you're walking them to where they want to go in any type of business, whether it be from a doctor, a retail environment, buying a software as a service, making them smile? There's wow, measure that.
David, I like to give all my guests 3 wishes. Now, I'm asking you to give yours away. If I was to ask you to give your 3 wishes to an inspiring business, what would you want them to do with those 3 wishes?
Oh, sure, Malcolm. One I've kind of given away, and I'll circle back to it. It's that important. I want to give them the wish to truly unleash their wildest vision, because just giving someone money, or saying, hey, I mean, life is risky. We're all gonna make it out not alive. We're not getting out of this thing. So, you could wish them so much for health and happiness to a certain level with their family. But people are still going to aspire, to measure themselves and what they leave behind in something they do. That's a given. So that's why first wish is to be able to truly find what they can unleash as their incredible vision for themselves, and that they'll inspire others to be a part of. I hope they can find that. I give them that as a wish to snap their fingers and that manifest, and they know. The second wish I would say is really the ability to just stop caring about revenue, which sounds crazy. As a business owner, numbers are crucial, but to stop caring and just focus on building a really happy place to work with happy people that really want to wow the market. And it's not just about reward. Can't so much call him a friend, but an acquaintance, Dan Price, who's made it pretty famous with his position over on the West Coast for what a day rate, what a pay rate should be, at a $70,000 annual base for any employee. That's an important philosophy, and I use that to polarize that it's a balance. So that's really what wish number 2 is about. Wish 1 is to unleash what they want, and wish 2 is to build that company that is all about being happy and making people happy so they can attain it. And wish 3, I would say, just make good memories and be able to look back in life and be super proud of them. I want that. I want that for them.
Brilliant, David. I love number 3 too. David Rose, what a wow interview. Thank you. I much appreciate it.
Thank you, Malcolm. Thank you.